Welcome to the Kentucky X-Files, Season 2, with your hosts Dennis Mays, Tyler Stewart, and Josh Gibbs. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, so you never miss an episode. Now, on to our show.
Coming towards me, just crouched down. For me, at first, I thought it was just a footage thing.
I thought it was a bear. You can tell the difference between like a small or spindly leg creature and something with a larger foot. And it was big, whatever it was. It ran straight down at us and just stopped. And it was pitch black. Couldn't see it.
And most of these witnesses that have come close to these things could have been killed.
It was beating on the side of the house. I didn't get on the side of the house as it went by.
Now, when it stood up, that's when I knew it was gone.
I needed someone to have pure faith in a higher power at that moment, and nobody fucking did.
Welcome back, guys, to your Kentucky X-Files. Is the bird zenning? Like he's meditating?
He's meditating. The bird is meditating.
That's fantastic.
I'm just waiting for somebody to be like, what kind of bird is this? I can tell you, it's a banana shit bird.
Oh, God.
So if Tim ever listens to this, he's going to be like, hey,
yeah,
you're stealing my jokes.
Line.
You're stealing my jokes, you son of a bitch.
If you keep stealing my lines, I'm going to have to punch you in the eye.
Yeah. You know what? Shout out to Tim.
Shout out to
Tim.
Timothy.
Timmy Poo. Timmy Poo. Timmy Pants. Nobody's going to know who we're talking about.
Yeah, no.
Tim's our buddy. Haven't talked to him in a while.
I feel like that was the whole point. It's like, hey, they would have to, if they want to know, they had to dig deep into our lives.
They're not ready. They're not ready for Tim.
They're not ready for Tim.
I'm not.
I don't think Tim's ready for Tim.
It's a can of worms right there.
I don't even know Tim.
Oh, God.
Did you guys make it through Thanksgiving?
Yeah. I'm still paying for it.
Yeah. But,
Yeah.
you know, it's the season to buy your wife an expensive car.
Oh, Jesus.
Season. So.
Yeah. I was like, I don't want to do that, Josh. That sounds expensive.
I don't have a wife.
It was like, as soon as I got done eating the turkey, I was watching TV or YouTube or something, and immediately it was buy your wife a Cadillac. You know,
it's not the like diamonds are forever kind of thing.
Those always happen, but that's the Diamonds Are Forever commercials
begins with K.
Right. That it's that commercial, and it's either a December to remember, your Lexus or your Cadillac or whatever. It's here, make this crazy enormous purchase without consulting your partner. You ever notice that it's always the husband buying the wife a car? Like
they always guilt you.
The guy never comes out in the morning with his coffee and his PJs, and his wife's in the driveway with like a brand new truck. You know what I mean? You never see that.
I see it. There's some serious inequality going on there.
Right.
I think this is something we got to start something. We got to protest or something.
Right.
Something's got to be done. That whole thing reminded me of like one of my favorite jokes though, where it's like this guy is like out with his wife and they're Christmas shopping and they decide to split up, right? And like 2 or 3 hours goes by and he's like, Jesus, is she still shopping? And he's like, I should probably call her. So he calls her and she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I've been done shopping for like 2 hours, and she's like, oh my God, really? I'm still going. And he's like, yeah, cool. Can you pick me up when you're done? She's like, yeah, where are you at? And he goes, that jewelry store that you love? And she's like, oh my God, honey. And he's like, I'm in the bar right next door. And his funeral services are still being planned, I guess. So, I don't know, man. It's all fun and games until the price tags come out.
Right.
Yeah. And I just hate how it's like they always guilt you into this, like, oh, if you love your wife or you love your husband, like, you should buy this expensive piece of thing.
Yep.
That's bullshit.
I know. So my wife actually sprung an idea on me that for my birthday, possibly she was gonna maybe take me to, where's it at, hon? It's like in Indiana. It's like in Indiana, and it's an elephant. What do you call it? Sanctuary.
That's a really weird place for an elephant sanctuary.
It is, but apparently you can go there, and she basically was like, do you want to like help give the baby elephants a bath? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, like, there's nothing about anything in that sentence that I don't want to do. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it frowned upon if you take a bath with them?
That's what I want to ask. Cause
I'm not saying get butt naked, because there's going to be other people there, other families having fun.
I feel like that would still count as a bucket list, even if I'm not allowed to strip down.
They turn around and Denny looks like the dad on every sitcom going to the beach. He's got his flip flops and Bermuda shorts.
Yeah, dude. Like, I'm ready. We're gonna get clean.
Shower cap on.
The only downside to this is my birthday is in January.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
hopefully they do that indoors.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, it just feels like one, I'm not sure I want to be, bathing anything outside in January. But if it's like my only chance, I'm gonna go for it.
I would think that all the elephants that are cold weather elephants probably were extinct.
Yeah. It makes sense.
So, UFOs tonight, UFOs. Let's segue to this conversation.
Not elephants. Not elephants.
Yeah.
The elephant in the room.
The elephant in the room. Hopefully, I'm in the room with the elephants.
Right.
One of the elephants at the thing, his name is Dodo. I thought that was cool.
And we segue back. Awesome.
That's all. I'm not going to, nothing else.
No. I just thought it was awesome.
Nothing else. Yeah.
So do we have any comments, like emails or anything we want to throw out there? Because it's been a while.
Let me close my elephant page and I'll look.
Elephant page.
I had it ready.
You're going to give details.
So Kat said it out loud. It is what it is. So he's going to have it out every single day so she can't forget that she said it out loud.
Yeah.
And he said it on a recording. And she doesn't want to upset our fans. Our fans want you to have that for your birthday.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
So
like if
you
you
should
fans
tell her
can
that.
get behind this, then we can make this happen. And all my dream will come true.
Yep.
This is the ambitions of my life. I want to bathe elephants. I don't know why. Yep. Let's see. Comments. Stephen Doms commented on episode number 249. He said, great show, but I wonder where the term venomous duck comes from. I love how random this is because I don't even remember what we were talking about. So, venomous duck.
I think I've heard that.
I think we said it. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the platypus. We were talking about the platypus.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a venomous duck.
Let's see here. Oh, my God. What the hell is Battle Cats? Is that...
Isn't that He-Man's steed?
Yeah. Battle Cat?
I'm looking up. There's all kinds of... Yeah. It looks like venomous duck is just a nickname for the platypus, and that's pretty much it. I thought maybe there was more to it. You know what I mean? How venomous is the damn platypus?
Super.
Yeah.
Like, is it like crazy
fatal.
bad?
That's fatal.
Yeah, it's fatal if you get speared with it.
Speared?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's on the back of their. It's like a toe.
It's only on the males though, isn't it?
Yeah,
What the?
it's like on the one of the feet. I want to say it's the left. Or
I think
something like that.
I think it's either the front or the right.
I thought it was the back legs, or back flippers, or whatever they are.
It says here in 1991, Keith Payne, a former member of the Australian Army and the recipient of the Victorian Cross, it's the highest award for valor in Australia, was struck on the hand by a platypus spur while trying to rescue the stranded animal. He described the pain as worse than being struck by shrapnel. A month later, he was still experiencing pain in that hand. As of 2006, Payne reported the discomfort and stiffness when carrying out physical activities such as using a hammer. Wow.
I mean, okay, hold on a second here. I'm sending a picture of the spear in question.
Yeah.
To the Discord. I'm not in even slightest surprised. Look at that.
Ugh. Why does it have that?
And it's only on the males and only on the hind limbs.
Yeah. So it has it on both limbs or just one?
Yeah, both.
Oh, I thought it was only on one. Yeah, that's so weird. Like, what the heck? It literally grew a toe that shoots out venom.
I mean, it's no wonder it was a cryptid. Just describe the platypus and tell me how real it sounds.
That's what we were. That was what we were going on. Like somebody had to like, dude, you're smoking some stuff there, man. A freaking beaver that looks like that has a duck bill.
Yeah.
Come on, and it's poisonous and it lays eggs.
It's everything. I mean, it's just an unholy abomination.
It's a conundrum. It's a super conundrum.
Yeah, I don't know. That's venomous duck. There you go, Stephen Dobbs. I don't know. That's all I got.
Okay, I'm opening the file. Done.
Yeah, that one's solved.
Big stamp.
Do we need a
Solved.
file where we put all of our solved mysteries? You know?
That would be kind of lacking.
That's
very empty.
Are you saying
we'd have three things in there.
Yeah.
God damn it, those three things we solved the shit out of.
Right?
Yeah. Oh my God. I think it's pretty funny though. I don't see one of my favorite comments. I don't know if I've read this one before, but we were talking about episode 248. We were talking about when they got the cells of the mammoth to come back to life and start moving. Mm-hmm. And Russ gets on the YouTube channel and he says, because you remember the scientist is 90 years old. Remember us talking about that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Russ gets on the YouTube channel and says, I wonder if the 90-year-old is still driving. Says because if he's not still driving, do we really want him bringing back extinct animals? What if he decides to bring back something that can eat us? I'm asking for a friend.
Yeah, like that's a solid point.
I don't know, man.
If this fella's even still lucid, you know.
I mean, I hope so, because Russ makes a good point there, man. I mean, what if if he's sitting there and he's working on the mammoth thing and he accidentally, oops, I brought back a saber-toothed tiger.
That's what we need. And they wouldn't even call it that. He'd be like, I'm bringing back the Smilodon. So only like half of the people in the world would be like, oh shit,
Right.
Well, I don't know if we could just base his abilities of driving off of if he's able to actually perform his duties as a scientist.
I mean, that's fair, because I know people that come to work every single day without wrecking their cars, and they're absolute morons.
One of my favorite comments, Tyler's going to fucking stab me in the neck.
Oh God, here we go.
3 weeks ago. I know I'm getting to these really late, but we've had a busy few weeks, guys. Episode 245 from the deep Loch Ness.
That one. Yeah, I know.
Travis Drum.
Yeah.
So I'm listening to this and driving home from work and I get to the part where Tyler said Loch Ness was 700 miles deep. I legitimately shot Mountain Dew out of both nostrils and all over my clothes and my steering wheel. And that's just another service that we offer here.
Right? Nasal evacuation. Find it cheaper somewhere else, folks.
I'm sorry, I don't know math.
Tyler is adamantly against the metric system.
It's about how many canoes long.
You come within 6 Loch Ness monsters and say that to our face, Travis.
Right.
Anything to not use the metric system. Love it. What's else we got here? Michelle Bass. Hope I'm saying that right, because if it's Bass, it's still pretty cool. My opinion, which of course isn't worth squat, I disagree, is anytime I'm trying to determine if a video is legit, I try to decide why someone is filming the situation. To me, that drone footage seems to serve no legitimate purpose. It wasn't long enough to show something happening. If truly they didn't know what the subject was, my verdict, fake. Hey, you know what? I feel like good points made.
Mm-hmm.
And
hey, that's where I was in the beginning till I saw the 4K.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Russ said, am I the only clown that's listening on ScrewTube? Good morning, fellas. I don't think you are.
Yeah.
Pretty funny. I love it, though. I love the comments. It's too bad that YouTube has paddled our bear heinies so much. I feel like we were on a roll there.
Yeah, we were doing good.
We were doing pretty good. Do you know what, though, guys? If you guys haven't kept up our streaming side, like all you guys out there listening on Spotify, iTunes, some other ones that I've never even heard of, but you're finding us there. I even seen Audible popping up, which is really cool. Thank you, because you're literally making the YouTube hit not hurt. I don't know how to say that better.
Yeah.
I mean, the hit on YouTube was pretty rough, but you guys on the streaming side are cranking it. Oh my God. I wish I could say on the air what I said to the guys when I saw the amount of downloads coming in. But I don't think it would go over very well.
Oh, well, it wouldn't go over well on YouTube, but it's going over just fine on streaming.
That's right. What else we got here? Episode 244, What If Patty Was the Last of Her Kind? Stephen Doms commented, there was a story on another channel that talked about a story at the end with the reason that Patty was walking like that was because people had her child tied down. They were trying to lure her out, and that's why she's looking back. And I'd like to hear more about that if anybody out there could elaborate.
That seems, I mean, I know I'm about to say this about a Bigfoot thing, but that seems pretty far-fetched.
Yeah. I mean, how you would
take any other mother in nature that gives live birth.
Yeah.
And think about how aggressive they are with their young.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know,
I don't even think. Yeah, we would. I don't think if that was the case, I don't think we would ever seen this footage.
Right.
They would have been found dead somewhere in the woods up there,
in pieces, most likely.
Yeah, in pieces like that. It's not like that kind of stuff. It's no joke.
Right.
Like they'll any type of creature like that would put their well-being aside to make sure that their young is safe.
Right. I'm just like, how the hell? I mean, if okay, let's just say for the sake of this argument, say that Bigfoot is proven true. Okay, so how the hell are you going to get in there and get her baby? I mean, we're talking like supposed to be like a 800-pound creature made of muscles. You know what I mean?
Right.
How you gonna get in there and grab the baby and run off with it or whatever you're doing, dude? She's gonna literally like mollywomp you.
And how big she is? You know how big of an infant was it? Her baby.
Yeah.
Like it had to be a pretty hefty size, depicting their size.
Right.
Even if it was a toddler. So it was just born, but even that, like, try to pick up a baby bear, like, yeah, it will still have some heft to him.
Yeah,
and that was only like probably weeks or months old. Think about like something that's like 2 years old, and compared to the size of that animal, like it would probably be within like, what would you say, like 50 pounds, maybe.
You'd imagine so. I mean, it's got to be big and hefty, right? I mean,
and I'm just saying, like, these guys, they weren't like big dudes. Like, they couldn't just pick up something like that and run off with it. Like, hee. Like, they wasn't doing that shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like
we should remember this, and we should definitely run this question by our best friend Brian.
Yeah.
Oh, our best friend Brian
our
from
super
Sasquatch.
Close best friend, yes.
Sasquatch Odyssey.
Yes.
That's right.
Don't ask him about it.
So modest.
You know, because he'll deny it. Because you know what I mean?
He's so modest.
He's very
Batman.
modest.
Robins have questions.
Yeah, we are his 3 Robins.
I don't know what a robin.
That was pretty good though. That was like, I really like that bird noise. That was really good.
Yeah.
I like.
Are
your
you
form.
an expert now?
I dabble. I just, you know what I mean?
Dabble? Okay.
I dabble. So yeah, not to make this awkward about our best friend or nothing. So anyway, I just don't feel like, we probably shouldn't like put too much public pressure on Brian being our best friend, because then, you know what I mean? People are going to go to him and be like, yeah, I just listen to your best friends. And he'll be like, oh my God, why are they saying that? Why are they still saying it?
No, what needs to happen is anybody that doesn't listen to him needs to go over there and listen, and then drop a comment somewhere and say, your best friends sent me.
And he'll immediately know who you're talking about, but he doesn't have to elaborate on it.
Yeah, he won't elaborate.
Because he doesn't have to. He just knows.
Yeah. Do you know, I have a funny idea.
Oh God.
If we ever find ourselves in a position to like say, like, God, you guys are going to hang me for this. So like, if we ever get in a position where we can talk to Dr. Meldrum.
Yeah.
Do you think he would get pissed if we started asking him stuff about like ailments? I was trying to think of questions that he probably doesn't normally get, right? Because everybody and his brother is going to be like, Dr. Meldrum, what do you think about this Bigfoot? What do you think about this footprint? What do you think about this? I want to be like, I got this elbow pain that comes back every now and again. And you're a doctor, so what do you think?
I feel like that would be like he would totally end the conversation there, because
so wait till the if we ever get to talk to him, wait till the end is what you're telling me.
No, I just don't think you should say, because
I'll pass him a note. I'll be like, I don't
think he will ever come meet us.
Oh God, I wish. But I understand if he didn't, because I mean he'd be lowering himself quite a bit.
Can you imagine Dr. Meldrum sitting in my garage?
That'd be amazing. You know how many pictures we would take?
How ridiculous that would be.
At him.
Just awkwardly. Could you imagine like talking him into like posing with us for like awkward Christmas cards we could send out to people?
Oh, man. That'd be awesome.
Wouldn't it be amazing? You get a Christmas card
sweater.
From Kentucky X-Files plus Dr. Meldrum.
It's just him sitting in a chair and us having a hand on his shoulder.
Would you let him be our fourth host?
Yeah. I take my myself out.
You'd kick yourself out?
I'd kick myself out if you don't
shit.
four hosts.
Oh my god. I'm sorry. I know that's goofy as hell, but I was cracking myself up thinking that. Like, I wonder what the guys would say if I sprung that up. I've been getting these headaches.
Well, the only crappy thing is, I feel like him being a fourth host, he would actually start hitting himself when he hears us talk. Because we're so out there. Like, he's a person that literally studies, understands what he's talking about, this and that, and we literally jump on this thing and just sprout what we think about. It has no bearing, no fucking scientific value behind it, but
I could imagine him like sitting us down and being like, all right, fellas, we're going to have to work on how we do things a little bit. So I'm going to do the talking.
You shut up.
I'm going to go ahead and take your mics away.
He points at me. He's like, you, anything math related, you shut the fuck up.
Distance and math, you don't even comment.
Shut up.
And then he would tell me, like, and I'm not that kind of doctor, so stop asking about your rash. Like, okay. So you don't think it's serious?
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm sorry for derailing us so badly. I just thought it'd be funny. I was driving around just laughing my ass off. Like, I shouldn't say this on the show. I should never say this on the show. And
just saying, we should just change the podcast name to Derail.
Derailed.
Yeah, Derailed.
Yeah. So the other night, I think it was last night, Josh sends over this message that, hey, I'm watching this thing. Check this out.
Yeah.
And I was like, at first I read it and I'm like, okay. And I clicked it and I like skimmed through it a little bit. And I'm like, oh shit, I can actually go watch this. So I jumped right in and started watching it. Holy shit.
Was it not amazing?
Dude, absolutely amazing.
I was hanging on the edge of my recliner for the entire episode.
It was like the kind of investigation that I hope for every time I watch a show about unknown stuff.
Right.
And for you guys out there listening, we're talking about the Unsolved Mysteries Volume 3. The episode is entitled Something in the Sky.
It's episode 2.
Episode 2. And it pertains to 1994, March 8.
And it is the new Unsolved Mysteries. It's on Netflix.
I kind of missed the old host. Remember him?
Yeah, but if you watch the episodes, they redid the original music and made it way eerier. But did you notice that they did a silhouette of Robert Stack?
So cool. Yeah.
And that there is no host.
Wearing the trench coat, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. And there is no current host for the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they did not replace Robert Stack, which I think is really cool. I mean, I know they did at one point in time, but for this one here, they just do a silhouette of him, and then the show just happens without him.
So cool.
Because let's be honest, the only real host was Robert Stack.
Yeah, dude, his voice was like you couldn't hear his voice without immediately.
So many sleepless summer nights.
Yeah,
because that show would come on and I couldn't get away from it, and then I'd be up and not being able to sleep because I'm like, well, what if that thing that happened in Arizona is here?
Right. My wife said when she was little, her grandmother used to watch that show, and she's shaking her head right now behind me, and she says the music would give her nightmares, and the guy, his voice. And when I turned the show on, she immediately was like, no. I'm like, what? She's like, oh my God, I used to have nightmares. And I'm like, it's not the same show. She's like, yes, it is. Listen to the music.
It's even creepier now.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome, though.
But yeah, the episode was so comprehensive. And I know we've talked about this event before, but there hasn't been a single article that puts out as much information as the Unsolved Mysteries episode of it.
Yeah. It was fantastic.
I mean,
their due diligence.
there's so much stuff going on in that episode. And, you know, like I never even realized that there was a National Weather Service cover-up involvement.
That blew my mind.
Right?
Honestly, the first part of that, that the National Weather Service was actually tracking the UFOs. Right. That part, dude, I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, really? And then
I didn't even know
that
that
they covered
happened.
it up. I'm like, oh my God, like this went corrupt in a heartbeat.
Yeah. So now we have over 300 civilian witnesses.
Yeah.
We have the crafts, UAPs, UFOs, whatever you want to call them, tracked by the National Weather Service radar.
Yeah.
We have eyewitness of a Michigan cop. You know what I mean? Like, there's 300 regular civilian eyewitnesses, but you have a cop that's coming out and saying, yeah, I saw it.
Did you realize when they said how many counties, that it was literally over half of the counties in Michigan saw this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And that there was that reporter that actually started to break the story because he got all the 911 calls.
Yeah.
And he was listening. And after the story broke, he actually got calls from two separate people, from two different pilots from two different airlines.
Yeah.
Said that they were flying over the same area and they saw the same thing. But granted, just like the weather system, the National Weather Service, they didn't want to say anything. They didn't want to tell them the carrier. They didn't want to tell their names, everything,
right?
Because they knew for a fact that it would show that somebody's not all there because they're saying that they're seeing stuff.
Yeah,
but this goes to show that, okay, 300 people, and maybe their stories might be a little skewed from everyone, but everybody else kept seeing different things, different things of what these crafts were doing. But 300 people, you cannot deny there was not something there.
Yeah. Yeah, at that point, we're getting into the realm of come on.
And then when the 911 dispatchers call, I can't remember his name now. The guy that was on duty that night, and the weather service, he was tracking them on radar, and he was seeing them they're at the same height that a plane would be, but he's they're not moving like they would be like a regular aircraft or in formations. He'd say they would do this weird jump over the lake of Michigan.
Yeah.
Michigan.
72,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they would make this triangle pattern formation. They would move, they'll sit there a couple seconds and move. And then the cover up was, they said it was some weather anomaly, some kind of ground.
It was ground interference or some sort.
Ground interference or something. But he said the way that the ping was happening, if you remember, he said how distinctive the ping is. He's that is metallic surface.
Yeah.
Because of the ping of the radar hitting and it coming back and reading, it was in metallic in nature.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And then this this kind of harkens back to everything that we've talked about involving the water sources, right?
Yeah.
So the Great Lakes are the world's largest source of fresh water, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you guys caught this in that episode, but the place where they stopped and hovered for the most amount of time was the furthest north section of the Great Lake, Michigan, where the ice stops and the water is still open.
Yeah.
They stayed right there. And then there was another witness that saw basically a water spout. It was a waterfall in the middle of the lake.
Yeah.
Where water was shooting up into a bright light. So that kind of goes back to the theories we've had that they're using this stuff on the ships like as like a cooling system or, you know, for resource or something like that, you know.
Right.
But there was a witness that flat out said we saw them sucking water up into the ship.
Yeah. It makes me wonder, like, well, I mean, what if they were passing through? You know what I mean? And it's like, hey,
right.
let's grab some fresh water while we're here.
Right.
I mean, what we know now that water isn't exactly what do you call it? It's not a rare resource in the universe. I mean, water happens all over the place. Hell, you know what I mean? We know now that it's very likely that the oceans and water here didn't even come from Earth. It came from elsewhere. So you never know. I mean, what if they were just stopping in like, hey, let's grab some water, maybe hit a couple cows and let's get out of here.
Right.
Let's hit the Earth Mart.
And then the guy that was at the Muskegon Weather Service station that was doing the 4 to 12 shift was basically forced into leaving.
Oh yeah,
to go to Atlanta and disappear for 27 years.
Yeah, crazy.
I mean, in a way, yeah, he was forced, but then again, he chose to do that because it would ruin his career. So he made a decision to say, like, do I really want to continue this and like say that I saw this and then ruin my career? I feel like he made the decision that anybody would have made, because I feel like it's hard for other people, especially like if they've had a traumatic experience. It's hard to let it go, but he really didn't see anything. He just noticed something on the radar and he's like, do I want to go down this hole and then ruin my life because people don't want to believe?
Yeah.
And that's the terrible thing, is that no one wants to, like, we're so scared of what's out there. We don't want to disclose it. We don't. And then on top of it, people just don't want to be labeled as the alien hunters or alien.
Yeah. They don't want the
people.
stigma that comes.
Yeah, they
with
don't.
it.
Yeah, they don't want the stigma, because don't get me, like, be honest. Even as like everybody out there, you know for a fact, no one takes MUFON serious.
Right.
No one takes that serious. And they try to figure out these unsolved UFO mysteries, but no one, I know for a fact, no one takes anything what they say is serious.
I mean, other than avid believers, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Just a little context real quick. The man says on the episode that he basically was clocking these things at like 13,000 miles per hour, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the fastest fighter jet we have is the SR-71. Right? This is the fastest active, okay? And you're talking maybe 2,500 miles per hour, okay? The X3 is even faster than that, from what I understand.
Right.
All right. Or sorry, the X-15, sorry, at 4,520 miles per hour, okay? The space shuttle, the space shuttles have to get from 0 to 17,500 miles per hour in 8 minutes. Right?
Yeah.
And a lot of that speed isn't even happening until they leave our atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
So if these things are maintaining a speed of 13,000 miles per hour in our atmosphere, with gravity, wind drag, wind pressure, everything that an aircraft has to deal with, I'm sorry, it's not human. It's not from here.
Well, not only that, they were doing elevation changes of insane amounts.
Oh yeah,
in the blink of an eye.
They said that he first tracked him. I remember it said 6,000 feet.
Yeah.
And that's when he said that's a normal height. But whatever.
And then they jumped to 12,000.
Yeah, they jumped to 12,000. But then he said that when they were starting to see more than one, he said some of them were at 7, and then there's somewhere at 12. But they said they were between 7 to 12,000 feet.
Yeah.
Of each other, but the speed that you're talking about too is that. Think about that. They did it like they're stationary, and then they start moving.
Yeah,
stationary and start moving. What vehicle could do that? Like I know, like we have jet planes nowadays that can hover, but to get up to that speed, it takes a longer distance.
Right.
To even, but you were saying like none of what we have down here could get to.
Just wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
When I was talking about the shuttle, the 17,500 miles per hour. That's orbital velocity. Okay, so that's 10 times faster than a speeding bullet. It's 23 times faster than the speed of sound. But that does not happen while you're still in the Earth's atmosphere. You're basically catching up to the speed that the Earth is rotating. Right?
Okay.
That's, for us, it takes an insane amount of resources to make an 8-minute jump to achieve that. And the only reason it's achievable is because that once they're experiencing that speed, they're no longer in gravity. Do you get what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
Does this make sense? Or because I in my brain it does, but I never know if I'm jumbling my words or not. It's like if you were on Earth and you were going 17,000 miles an hour, you'd be dead.
Yeah, that's kind of like where I thought you were getting at. Was like the force alone of being on like down on Earth, basically, it would be too much for us to handle.
This is a diagram of basically how it works, and it'll have like it'll show you the speeds, and you'll notice that the crazy amount of speed that happens that's well beyond our jet fighters, it happens after you leave the Earth's atmosphere. There's so much friction, there's wind, you know what I mean, the wind drag, all that shit that we just can't deal with. So like I'm like full on willing to put my line in the sand on this one. I think those were UFOs. That's from somewhere else. That is not us.
Okay. And this is just me, and I
don't even think they're UFOs as far as like, you know, we just don't know what they are. I think they're literally from somewhere else. They're not from Earth.
Okay.
Sorry.
I just want to throw this a little out there. I don't if anybody will like see, like you can see like find these links to the maps and stuff. I think we could probably throw the link up that Gibbs threw up, and then it shows some of these maps that the meteorologist put up. Is it odd that the way that he put the dots that he saw these things, the shape of them that look like beans?
Yeah, it was weird because they were like holding a pattern.
But did he specify that they looked like beans, or did he just is that just something that it just looks like?
No, they were cylindrical.
Yeah.
I'm only throwing that out there because of like the recent videos. Well, I can't say recent, probably wasn't they released in 2016? The fighter jet ones, they said they look like Tic Tacs or beans.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the only way. Like that, I thought it was weird that they look like his little dots look like beans, and I didn't know there was a reason behind that.
This is a breakdown of the math of how impossible what those objects were doing is. And you could see if you were going that fast in the Earth's atmosphere, your mass would be multiplying just exponentially, right?
The 4,000. Hold on.
You would be thrusting around, and your weight would feel like 2,030 tons. I mean, just imagine this. Like this is like the physics of it. Why it's not us.
I lost that, like, because there's another number next to it, but that's in pounds, not tons.
Yeah.
But that's 4.447 million pounds.
Yep. 4,470,000 pounds. That's how much you would weigh if you were experiencing that. Well, that's the force you would be feeling, I should say.
Yeah. So how many G's did it say it actually, like, you would actually fit, like, be?
Okay, so at liftoff, I mean, you're experiencing 1.5 G's every second. Does that make sense? You're building on that. That's why they try to get out of
Earth's gravity. You would be, but that would be including Earth's gravity too?
Yeah, they're trying to. This is space shuttle right here. So this is, you're trying to get out of our gravity before the G's become unbearable.
Okay.
So if the shuttle has a wobble, I don't know if you guys have heard that term before in regards to shuttles and launches. Okay, if it gets a wobble or a shimmy, it's aborted. Because the G-force would be too much, and it basically would kill you. You couldn't leave the atmosphere. It would kill you before you'd ever got there. So it's like they don't even talk about this. It's a race against time.
Right.
We've got this much time to get our asses out of the atmosphere into 0 G's, because if not,
I know this has nothing to do with it, but it kind of reminded me of it. I heard there was this like they were talking about it. They said that if you had like bad teeth, could you go into space?
Yeah.
They say no, because if you had like fillings or anything, the G forces alone will pop your fillings out.
It's crazy, man.
So think about that, so that kind of gives like a little much to it too. It's like, dude, these people were moving inside our gravity. Like if anybody was in there, like it had so much force that it would pop your fillings out, let alone probably pop your eyes out of your socket.
Yeah. I noticed when I did some more researching into this whole thing, on the show, it describes the UFOs as cylindrical, but there was quite a lot of eyewitnesses that said they were triangles.
Well, I thought he said that it was only in a triangle pattern. I never heard them actually say triangle shape.
Okay.
Yeah, everything they were like round or cylindrical, and they would form a triangle pattern.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
And the other thing that was crazy about it was not only were they forming a triangle pattern, but they were forming a triangle pattern in such a way that they were at the same same V shape as the radar pattern.
I know. Yeah, I watched that part when he was talking about how he said that the radar, when he was aiming the radar at them, they were like forming up and aiming back. Did you guys watch that part when he's talking about how they were like purposefully flying into the radar to like, it was like they knew it was there?
I didn't. I don't. I guess I ever heard that. I watched almost the whole episode, unless it was when it was at the end.
It was towards the end, and he it was so funny because they passed over that whole detail like really quickly, and I found that to be a great detail. I'm like,
right, because they were if they wasn't trying,
they were getting if they knew they were getting hit by radio waves, dude, what is that?
Right.
You know, like what the hell is that? And they don't care. Yeah, go for it. Hit us with it. What are you going to do? We're literally faster than all your weapons, man. What do you got? It's like, dude, it's a major flex, in my opinion.
Well, it still lends, like with all these things being said and like questions that had like kind of been answered in a way, but it brings up like 100 other different questions. Like, you were asking, like, okay, yeah, there was a eyewitness saying that they were sucking water up. What for? Could it be for fuel? Could it be a sample? Like, what were they doing? Why were they just staying around that area? Was it just they were just curious? Were they on safari?
Yeah.
Like, Guzgar and Kata, like, look down there. Those are humans. We don't touch them. You stay inside the ship.
You don't know where they've been.
You don't know where they've been. Like, that's like I would like to believe that aliens are just as petty as we are, where they're going on family field trips.
Dude, honestly, when it got to that whole part about the water being sucked up into the ship, I thought that was the most straightforward detail.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've personally never heard that before. I don't know if you guys have, but when the whole, like, taking water into their ships, that was new for me.
Well, we've talked about the whole, like, it being close to water. Like, a lot of these real big sightings were close to water.
Yeah. Because my whole thought was like, dude, this is like one of the, what do you call it? I'm like, this is like the most legit, to me, like, simplified, straightforward reason that they'd even be here. It's like water.
But
I don't think they're using it for fuel, personally. I don't
one
think
thing, I was about to say is like there has to be like I don't think they would have like your normal like type of combustion type of thing. Like you could say that they're splitting it and making it into hydrogen for fuel or something of that nature.
Yeah.
Excuse me, but I feel like they're beyond that. They would be beyond that type of propellant for them.
Yeah.
You know, because even like I've heard people make hydrogen engines, it still makes sound. They said in this like show, the witnesses that were on the show said they heard nothing, not a sound.
Yeah.
And then they said it was one lady, I think the elderly lady, I think she was the first one they were talking to. She said it was like above tree level. And I hear that a lot too. It's always above tree. Like, I don't know if it's more of a distance thing that you're not kind of comprehending. You're just looking out the window and it is above tree level, but it could be like high up in the distance.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, it would fucking have to be above the trees.
Yeah.
You know, I don't understand why that was always a qualifier, because it would have to be above the trees, because if it wasn't above the trees, then it'd be in the trees, and you don't fly very well in the trees.
No.
Well, no, I'm not saying that like that's what they're saying. The qualifier would be it's tree level, like they were above, at least above the trees. Like that's how high up they were. Depending on how tall the trees were, I don't know.
Yeah.
But some of them said they were like about like 300 feet up in the air. So I don't know if there's that high of a tree.
And to be honest, most people think they're really good at judging distance.
Shut up! I feel like you're going to say it to me.
I wasn't going to say it.
How many tree levels high do you think? 700 million.
But
I feel like you were genuine about that. You didn't mean to make fun of me, but
right. I really wasn't coming after you with that one. But they're like, you know, you take somebody, you'd be like, "Hey, man, how long is that board over there?" "Oh, it's about 6 foot." Well, 6 foot's ass. You go over and measure it, and it's 10 foot, or it's 4 foot. You know, like people are really terrible at judging size, length, weight.
You know,
they think they're great, but they're not.
Us men are typically very, very generous with our length and width and size guesses.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
it's the go big or go home mentality, right?
Yeah.
That's where you're going with that.
That's the like, especially for that, because like back then when we didn't have like anything to measure with, shit was all askew. So that's why we're like you were saying, it's like this. How tall you think that is? That's about 6 foot. John, we really need to figure out a way where we know a unit of length.
Here's what I want to know is, at what point in history was there some guy who had like 10 severed feet that he actually lined up and measured shit with? And people were like, dude, this guy's a genius. He's kind of morbid.
Yeah. Where did he get the feet? Don't worry.
Don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
But he's like, they're like, how big is your hut? And he's like, hang on. And he just starts pulling all these like rotted like corpse feet out of a box, and he starts lining them up.
the guy's like, it'd be a whole lot easier if you just put the marks on a stick.
Yeah. But he was like,
Shut up, Johnny.
He's like, this is 10 severed feet. Boom! Take that, metric system.
That's amazing.
I actually I found something on the NASA website regarding gravity control.
Okay.
And basically, I know this has been a subject that's, I know NASA is like, obviously they want to figure this one out, right? No one's ever been able to create zero gravity, in a contained like unit, and to use it as a way of propel, like moving something, right? Any kind of propulsion. So the current status of gravity control with NASA is officially in speculation. All right. And what happens when they're working on this type of stuff is any kind of theory it goes first into conjecture. It moves from conjecture into speculation, from speculation into science, from science to applied technology, and then from technology to application. And currently, gravity control or like gravitron or whatever you want to call it is in speculation. It says here that we now know that gravity and electromagnetism are a linked phenomenon. We are quite adept at controlling electromagnetic phenomenon. So one can presume that such a connection might eventually lead us to using our control of electromagnetism to control gravity. General relativity, another one of Einstein's doing, is one way to describe such connections. Another way, through new theories from quantum mechanics that link gravity and inertia, is something called vacuum fluctuation. That's the official NASA on like a warp drive. You know what I mean? Whatever was flying around at 13,000 miles per hour and changing altitude in like a second, they're manipulating gravity.
Right. They're jumping 20 miles in 2 seconds and changing elevation by 6,000 feet in a fraction of a second. It's the sheer power it would take to do that is mind-boggling.
Right. Yeah.
And this falls under that, of this world situation, the life as we know it, none of it makes any sense. So everybody just kind of goes, whatever, it ain't real.
Yeah.
Because we don't know how they're doing it.
Yeah.
I bet you there's people in the government that want to know how they're doing it.
I imagine so. It would be, to me, it would be like painting the biggest target on your back.
Right. Because, why else would, why was the National Weather Service so adamant about no interviews, no talking?
Yeah.
No disclosures, All he did was sit there and track something on radar.
Yeah. That's, I don't know. I'm like, just watching it and then going and doing my own research and trying to find, like everything else, trying to pick apart, inconsistencies and basically whatever I can to see if there's some kind of weak link or fallacy in it. I can't find anything. This story has not changed in the last like 20 something years. And everything I was saying earlier, about the atmospheric pressure, the gravity, you know what I mean? That's like my way of like looking for some kind of flaw here,
Right.
And they weren't being affected by atmospheric pressure. They weren't being affected by, anything. There was nothing affecting them. They were affecting it. And the only way you can do that is by creating your own gravitational anomaly. And the thing about like air pressure on Earth is that it has a very proportional relationship with gravity. Our atmosphere, if like, okay, so Venus, right, has 33 times the atmospheric pressure of Earth. Hence, the reason is because there's more gravity. It's denser atmosphere. It's spinning faster. It's moving. It's more dense. It's creating more gravity. So it's the two are linked. You know what I mean? You can't come into a gravity field and not be affected by it unless you have some way of nullifying it. That would be the zero gravity theory, or gravity zero, whatever you want to call it. A warp drive. Something that literally just creates its own gravitational pull. So it's basically it's like you're putting on a what do you call it? Like when you dive in the ocean, you're putting on a scuba suit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You put on a scuba suit so that you can basically null and void the water getting into your lungs and killing you. So that gravity field would be like a scuba suit. And I imagine they, if they're visiting and they're able to make these crazy trips, then they have to be able to, to change it. Like turn the throttle up. You know what I mean? But it's so fucking crazy, man. Like these speeds and the altitudes and the like how they moved and how they, like he said, how they stopped. That shit doesn't happen. Like we don't have it. We literally don't have the ability to do that. And whatever them things were, they had the ability. So I'm on board. I'm willing to put my hat in it and say, dude, that was not from here.
Yeah, I don't even know. Like, I have no idea what could have possibly happened. All I know is there's 300 people in Michigan that all saw the same thing.
Yeah.
When you've got like one or two people with their sightings,
right,
you might have some misidentification factors,
Yeah.
But when you've got 300 people that were eyewitnesses, including somebody whose job it is to serve and protect and observe, that sees this, that is a skeptic, that was like, what in the world am I walking into? Then sees what he sees in binoculars and then goes, well, I've got to go chase this. Then hops in his cruiser and chases these things across Michigan, just watching it happen.
Yeah.
And then you've got a guy that has been into weather since he was like 4 years old, that is one of the most well-trained radar people, because all the meteorologists that learn how to use radar learn every aspect of it.
Yeah.
And all of them are saying the exact same thing.
I would like to get another meteorologist's take on what they said, what they wanted to call these anomalies that he said that he saw. If that, like what they disclose as ground interference or something, if they think if that's plausible or is it bullshit?
The downfall to that would be is how do they go about doing that if they can't watch the original radar?
Yeah, would they have to speculate?
They would have to, because there's no way to see what was actually seen on radar.
But okay, maybe I'm a little ignorant on this part. What I was really going off of is, was that a bullshit answer? Was that just a made up term, or is that an actual term that people like? There is such thing as ground interference on radar and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's actually something. The stuff that the National Weather Service used to pass off what happened is a term. But what was his name? Jack? Am I remembering his name right?
I think so.
Jack Bashong or something like that.
Yeah.
He explained all of it away. And then when the National Weather Service realized that when the 911 tapes came out, that their own person was being heard, and being put in reports, they were like, well, we got to put a stop to this now. So they put out their own pretty quickly just to pass it off as, oh, no, this is what it was. And then they told him, you're not allowed to do any interviews whatsoever. You're not allowed to talk about this anymore. And that's shitty,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the whole reason why today we can't get an actual straight answer from anybody, because no one wants to end up like that. No one wants to have to make that decision, especially if you've planted yourself in this area for so long, having to up and move so you can get away from that in that industry, if they're going to all be that shitty towards you, because they're like, oh, this is the guy that freaking says that there's UFOs out there. It's like, I don't want him to work for me.
Yeah.
So that's shitty. And them saying that too is people are going to say okay, maybe I shouldn't say anything. And we get that all the time too. It's like, hey, don't use my name. I'm in a field where I don't want anybody to know, because it could potentially ruin my job, ruin my life, basically. And that sucks. But in a way, at least you're trying to get it out there.
Yeah.
Tell people that you saw something. Even if it's a UFO, any type of cryptid, it's like you're seeing something. We might not know what it is, but you are seeing something. And don't get me wrong, there's probably some people out there that probably had one too many things to drink and it said that they've sold something, but we got to figure out who's telling the truth and who's not. And I feel like these people are. There's no way you can get 300 people call each other, hey, I'm going to call the cops and say I saw some lights in the sky. And I got a cop involved with it too. It's going to be so hilarious. It's no, I doubt it.
I'm this whole time I've been listening, but I've been I'm still going down this rabbit hole, right? I found it was an abstract article that was released in 2004. And it's on the ADS Harvard website, right? It says here, the essence of any propulsion concept is to overcome gravity. Anti-gravity is the natural means to achieve this. Thus, the technology to pursue anti-gravity by using super heavy elements may provide a new propulsion paradigm. The theory of a superluminal relativity provides a hypothesis for the existence of elements with the atomic number up to Z equals 145, some of which may possess anti-gravity properties. Analysis results show that the curved space-time exists, demonstrating both gravitic and anti-gravitic properties, not only around the nuclei, but inside the nuclei as well. Two groups of elements, Z64 and 63, greater than Z145, exist that demonstrate these capabilities. The nuclei of the first group of elements have masses with only the property of gravity. The nuclei of the elements of the second group have masses with both properties, gravity and anti-gravity, in two different ranges of curved space-time around the nuclei. The hypothetical element, Z145, would be unique among all elements whose nucleus has only anti-gravity. It is proposed here that this element be named Hawking, in honor of Stephen W. Hawking. That was publication was Space Technology and Application, 2004. Pretty well. So they have elements that are showing potential. So Bob Lazar's element 115 might not be too far, too far off from the mark. Because in order to get any of these elements, you would basically have to find the isotope in a heavily reactive element, such as the radioactive metal element 115. The same one that Bob Lazar said was in research in Area 51. Pretty wild, huh?
Fucking incredible.
Yeah, the key isotopes would have to be rendered from that one. So, like, these are two different articles that are not related at all, by the way, because Harvard doesn't have anything to do with Bob Lazar whatsoever.
Right.
So they're basically saying that you need an element that shows the properties of a heavy isotope. And what is element 115? It's a heavy element with multiple isotopes inside of it that they still don't understand yet. Like, they don't even know the boiling point of this isotope, put it that way. Like, so far, we've never been able to get it hot enough to do anything with.
That's incredible. Have they made it malleable or anything?
No, it's like, from what I'm reading, it's like super resistant. Like, it's able to, okay, so it holds its own temperature at 20 degrees Celsius, no matter where it's sitting. Like, if you drop this thing off in Antarctica, it's still sitting there at the same temperature. Does that make sense?
Right.
Like, this thing is like crazy dense, and it's crazy, reactive.
It's not affected by room temp. It is its own room temp.
Yeah, it's basically, yeah, exactly. So crazy, man. So, like, yeah, all this, like, everything we're talking about, like, what could be able to do this? Like, we're like 15, 20 steps behind. You know what I mean? Mm. And each step is probably like 30 years. Just research, It's crazy, man. This stuff is like the kind of shit that just melts your brain after a while. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm so glad that there's like super smart people working on this.
It's people smarter than us for sure.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, just way smarter than us. I was like, I have like the most layman's rudimentary understanding of how isotopes work, and I don't even begin to comprehend. You know what I mean? Like the way they how like they discover this stuff by basically bombarding the elements with radiation, right? Like, they just subject these elements to just crazy amounts of radiation for basically like milliseconds, and then they see what kind of isotopes separate from the element. And those isotopes are what they discover, and then they discover what the properties of that particular isotope has. What can you do? So it's like this crazy, like, what do you call it? Just to go through this, just to make this isotope, which you can't even see it. You know what I mean? It's fucking nuts, man. Just imagine there's a ship flying around using this shit for fuel. Like, it's not like you have to stop and refuel. You know what I mean?
Right.
This thing's going to literally, it's going to keep going perpetually.
It will never burn out?
You'll never burn it out. And, I mean, you might over 1 million years or so, but you know what I mean? Like, if you have a way of tapping into this and using it as your fuel, dude, there's no, like, there would be no need for a fuel gauge on your ship. Does that make sense?
I can't. The only thing I keep picturing is like, man, that's totally not marketable.
Oh yeah, dude. That'd be
in this economy. Nah,
they're not like pulling up. Like, can you believe these goddamn isotope prices?
God damn.
Jesus.
President.
I wonder with its resistance. I wonder with its resistance properties, if not only is it being used as a fuel, but if it's also being used in the material to make said UAPs.
Yeah. I actually had the resistances up here and I just closed it.
Because if you had something that could not be affected by the ambient temperature around it, then presumably it wouldn't get burned up in space or entering atmospheres.
Yeah. I mean, we know that it has crazy heat resistance because it's like just doesn't melt.
Right.
Like what else? What else does it? What affects it? You know what I mean? And it could be something simple like rust. You know what I mean? Like, like anything. We don't know. They're so new and they're still working on it. They have no idea. It's just wild, man. This stuff's mind blowing. I know it's all theory. You know what I mean? But still, I mean, if you got my brain goes automatically to just a singularity because I'm like, I can't grasp what else could move around without any kind of, backlash from the environment it's flying in. Maybe
right.
you ever like been in a pool and you try to like throw a punch underwater?
Yeah, of course.
It's like it slows you down so much, because you're dealing with all that water pressure and weight around you. It's like you can't. Like you can still do it, but it's not going to be anywhere near as what it should be. So yeah, I don't know. That's what I keep thinking of. I keep going back to that. Is like all the resistances these things would have had to deal with, but they just didn't. So yeah, I'm thinking it's somewhere else. It's a visitor.
That's where I lie with it.
Yeah. I don't know. Pretty wild. Pretty wild. But guys, you know what? We're like an hour 15 on this episode. I think we've hopefully got people a little bit farther on this. If you're sitting there at work right now and you were thinking like, God, how did them things fly around like that? You just randomly were thinking that, and then you heard this. I don't know. It's meant to be. Or you didn't know anything about it, and we just stuffed your head full of it for an hour. I'm good with that. But yeah, I think we should let them have their day.
Absolutely. They've earned it.
Because I'm gonna if not, I'm gonna keep working on this, and I'm gonna give myself a migraine headache. So you guys out there listening, we appreciate you. Take care of each other. Send us $1,000.
Nope.
And pictures of your dog and stuff for Josh.
Yeah.
He wants to see your dog. Show him your dog.
They won't show me their dog. Show me your car.
Send us your address and we'll come to your house.
Nope.
We'll have breakfast with you.
Nope.
I like a lot of eggs.
Nope.
Big egg eater. You know what I mean?
Nope.
And
Nope.
There you go.
Yeah.
We'll make Tyler come anyway. Don't worry.
No, none of us are going to go.
And don't forget, don't ask Brian about us being best friends. He'll just deny it. It's very bad.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys around.
See ya.